Hello, I'm Ms. Lumley, and this is Finextra at Sibos, and today I'm speaking to Chris Remondi of Brown Brothers Harriman. So Chris, earlier this week at Sibos, we both sat on a panel discussing how to empower your workforce with mobile, and you talked a little bit about some of the pushback in the financial services industry regarding this movement. What are some of the challenges that are unique to this industry?
Well, that was a fun panel, and I think hopefully we push some people in the industry to start looking at it a new way. Most of us in financial services today say that innovation is an important part of what we're doing. We need to start developing new products and think about new ways to do business. Yet at the same time, the financial services firms that I know of all say, well, don't bring the latest technology to work. Leave it at home. And we've got to really think about that very differently. Financial services is used to being very command and controlled structure. And it is, use our equipment, use it the way we want you to use it, and therefore we can control the data at all times. The market really is changing and the technology is changing. We can control data on multiple devices these days, and we've really got to enable that. I want people that work for our firm, Brown Brothers Harriman, to have very high technical IQs. And the only way that can happen is if they're using the latest devices at work.
So despite all this, you claim to be still very bullish on mobile. I think you said during the panel that in 2 years there'll be no traditional desktops at BBH. So, why are you very bullish?
Well, I think it's the wave of the future. I think it's going to be how people work and interact. When we do development work these days, just 5 years ago we did development in a waterfall approach, where you described the product that you wanted built and you handed it to technologists and they went off in 6 months and built the product, right? Today we've moved to an agile approach where it's actually an iterative process, and you put groups together in rooms where they actually build and co-design and co-develop the product. Well, in order to do that, they can't be tied to hardware anymore. They've got to be able to quickly say, okay, these 10 people are going to be in this room for 3 months working on a particular product. Well, if all their information is back at a traditional desktop, that's not very effective. We need them to be able to move into that room, still be able to access all the information that they would have on a traditional desktop, be able to operate right there, and that's what's happening.
So we had a final comment from one of the audience members during our panel that accused us of not being very cool, sitting up there in our suits and we weren't in t-shirts and sneakers. So, are we uncool, or does it really even matter?
Well, me personally, yeah, I'm uncool, but I think some of the technology we're using is actually pretty cool. And you're seeing things like we're starting to enable now BYOD, so our newer employees can bring their own device to work and use what they want to use to interact. We've fully enabled the iPads for capabilities at our firm. We're using pretty great technology as a backbone. So I think there are ways for financial services firms to be cool, one of which is, we have very, very large technical budgets. And when you have that kind of technical budget, you're able to use some of the latest technologies on the back end too. So we are on some of the cutting edge databases and on some of the cutting edge software. And that makes us interesting from a technology standpoint. Are we going to be developing gameware that's going to sit out on Google? Probably not. And that's not the cool factor we'll ever be able to achieve. But I do think we can be a little more fun and certainly a little more interesting from a technical standpoint.